guys, welcome back to Game and Muscle videos, and this second part we continue off, and hopefully the audio levels are slightly better. I've turned my my mic down a touch relative to the car volume, so ideally this will sound a lot more clear, though we've probably broken it and made it so that I sound like a little mosquito trapped inside a car, and my voice will barely be audible, but we'll see. we'll see. Again, for those of you if you've not seen the previous video, we're using the microphone on the Oculus Rift, so it'll be interesting to see what that sounds like. And I've actually turned the microphone down a little bit to see if that stops it from, I think it was peaking and it had a little tinny sound to it. So we'll see if that's being fixed as well. Now, first of all, let's... this, by the way, is the Porsche 911 RSR, the new vehicle that Kunos have put in the game. Absolutely amazing vehicle. And it seems to be really conducive to good close online racing. We're at Monza, so good close online racing might not be the best of things, especially when it comes to T1. Generally, not good. But let's first of all line our steering up. Well, one thing I do with the Rift when lining steering up is you've got this hole in the bottom of the Rift where you can actually see your hands through it, which if you don't want that, you can get a VR cover that blocks it off, but I actually quite like having the ability to see my hands and stuff below me, because when you focus ahead driving you don't really notice it, and it's only if you're playing room scale games that you want to completely block things off. But if you're sat in a sim ring, it's quite nice to be able to peek through your nose and just admire your groin, really. That's what you do mid-race. But what it's really handy for is lining yourself up in the game, and what I tend to do is I'll look through my nose and I'll look and move my head up and down, and for you guys won't be able to see what I'm seeing, of course, but basically my real hand blends into the virtual hand. It's almost like some kind of advanced cinematic effect where I'm being digitized. It's like a really bad 90s movie. But I can then use the car seating position to move my seat forwards and backwards until the scale of my hand is spot on, but also I can get my hand position there. First, actually, it's best to recenter first, get it as central as possible, and then do this. And then you can have it, and you look down, and it should line up all the way up to your shoulder. When you've got it spot on, your shoulder will line up, and your belly will line up. There you go. So now, when I look down, my arm, it's not completely spot on because this car, the drive, obviously you've got different seating positions in different cars, so that'll have a different effect. But the actual steering wheel, my hands are exactly 1-to-1, though I'm wearing gloves in the game, so they're a little bit more chunky than my real hands. Also, I think the Assetto Corsa hands are actually more chunky than real world hands, but that's all there. And then if you want to double check, you can poke your head against the steering wheel. Of course, if you're clipping through the steering wheel, if you actually hit your steering wheel, you have to remember that your eyes are further back than the end of the headset, so if you're doing that to line it up, it shouldn't go through the wheel by the time your headset hits it. It should be just in front of the wheel when your headset hits it, and that's now lined up perfectly 1-to-1. Now we've not qualified here, so 25th Monza, probably a better place to be. I mean, like the previous race, like what I was saying with the previous race, either you want to be in the top 3, maybe top 5, and then you can push and you'll probably survive T1 if you don't get rear-ended. We've got a handy TV screen in this car. It's one of those vehicles. Either top 5 and just go for it, or last. It's a sort of iRacing start from the pit strategy almost. So we'll see. There's going to be cars everywhere. It'll be a nice firework display. Fuel. I don't know how much we need at all, because I've never driven this car at this circuit, so whatever. Let's go for 70 litres. Why not? Let's destroy the environment. And we are running default setup. I've got the nice wait time now. As I was saying in the previous video, I mean, I think this was in a patch before this recent patch, having this wait time and everything, but the whole general process and experience and the polish in just public server racing has come gradually with Assetto Corsa, and the last patch has improved it with pit stuff and being able to do reverse grids and everything. As I was saying, in the previous video. But the general online experience now is just a lot smoother. It feels more polished. It was a little bit rough before. There we go. This is nice. I should have put my Formula rim on. We are using the TSPC Racer wheel and the Proto Simtech pedals, which are absolutely awesome. I've put the plastic pedals on them, and with the plastic pedals I'm relatively comfortable driving in socks. We're not doing any heel and toe in, so no risk of me cutting my feet. But the beveled plastic faces on the pedals actually make it alright with socks. So yes, we're set up and ready to go. Look at the cockpit, it's superb. All these cables, I mean, it's like someone's done a PC mod contest. Batteries, fire extinguishers, radios. I mean, I don't even know what half that stuff is. Oh, lights on the screen. We're not in a rush here though. It's like waiting to get on a cross-channel ferry. Let's just hope we don't fall in the sea. Oh, I absolutely love this car. Whoa! Where is he going? Someone else, he's just gone, oh, forget it. Forget T1. It's too much stress. He's having PTSD moments. So this other car in front of me has gone, oh dear. Here we are at the Monza T1 Serengeti. We see the mating ritual of the Porsche RSR. There's cars everywhere. Oh, he's pulled over. This is like he's at the McDonald's drive-through window. Can I have a double cheeseburger, please? We're still alive. There we go. I think that's about 4 or 5 cars that have gone off. Oh, there goes another one. Whoa! Okay. Woohoo! Just watch my rearview mirror as we come into this break point. There goes another 2. This is worse than Imola. We've had like 5 cars per corner here. But we're doing alright. You basically, on public service, you sort of have to think of your car as if it was made out of papier-mâché. Whoa, don't rear end me, I can see him. I'll come off the brake a bit earlier there. I'd rather risk running wide than getting a Porsche in my bumper. Yeah, you've got to think of your car as being made out of papier-mâché, and imagine the cars in front of you and behind you as all being completely inebriated, and then also picture them as being about 1.5 cars wider than they actually are. And then with that in mind, you can avoid a lot of crashes, though not everything. We're doing alright so far. I've survived. Well, we've not even finished the first lap yet, so we won't speak too soon. I've got my force feed back on a bit high, so I can feel it clipping a little bit. We don't need to go into 4th there. We need to go to 3rd. This guy's making a nice pass. You can hear him nice and clearly. That's what we were saying in the comments, that the car sounds in AC are, you know, terrible, and I do agree. I don't agree that they're terrible. I don't think they're the best, but the point I'm getting at, we'll get there slowly as we go to T1. I find the sounds perfectly fine and usable, and more than enough for immersion. And they're not on the absurd sound of over-the-top sound. So sure, the sounds aren't necessarily the most gritty and the most riveting in terms of heart-pumping sound effects, but they're not bad. So, you know, and when that car was passing us on the right, you could hear where he was. That's the main thing. I mean, for me, with sounds in driving simulators, obviously I'd like really nice heart-pounding sound effects, and I think Race Room is the leader for that. But if you've not got that, the main thing is to just have being able to hear where other people are and be able to tell what RPM your car's running at and what's going on with your tyres. And I think AC does that. So yeah, sound's definitely it's obviously a very hard problem, very hard to do it well, and I mean, you have to remember with driving simulators, they can't really be canned. The sound effects can't be canned to the same extent that they are with arcade games. You play something like Flat Out or Burnout, or even the Need for Speed, the sound effects are done, you know, they're not really necessarily taken from real cars for a start. They're just, a sound artist is just making cinematic sound effects. But then also the game has a really defined range that you can link those sound effects to, whereas driving simulators are a lot more dynamic in what's going on in general, so it makes doing good sounds a lot harder. Mind you, in terms of practical sound effects, personally I think iRacing probably has the best functional sound effects. Like, it's very easy to tell what RPM you're in, and it's very easy to work out where people are around you, even with just stereo headsets in iRacing. And then, as I say, racing experience is the all-round blow your trousers off sound effects. Turn the volume up and just have fun driving. Turn the volume up, jump into the 90s DTM car in race room, and make yourself a cup of tea beforehand, and it's a perfect evening basically. So where are we? 12th. We're already on lap 3 of 7. This is like a super sprint session. Ooh, and under the bridge, get a little bit of reverb. Trying to get this car to turn in. Probably could do with some setup tweaks here. We definitely don't have the default's definitely not that good at this circuit. But I absolutely love this Porsche ISR. As I say, of the races I've done in it, I've not raced on this circuit, but I was racing it at Silverstone and, oh dear, right on my bumper. Where else we were racing it? I think it was at Brands Hatch I did a race as well. And it was just close racing, a public server and multiple laps, neck and neck. I mean, it's so, oh, at Nürburgring GP as well, and I was doing so close racing with it. It was me and sort of top 4 or 5 people. We were bumper to bumper to the extent where I was having to look through the car in front's window, through his back window, and then through his front window to be able to see where the brake points were, because we were that close together. It's just really, really fun. A nice thing with VR, that, okay, he's pushing up the inside. I'm going to leave him a little bit of room. See, to me, that sounds really nice. I can hear his exhaust spluttering, I can hear a bit of a wind effect, a little bit of reverb, which you'd expect off the Armco walls and the trees here. Pretty damn good. And as I've said before, I think the car sounds in AC have improved with each new car that's come out. Whoa, where's he? Kebab shopped. I just psych out there. Jedi mind overtake. Another car driver that's vaping. He looks like he might be a crasher. Let's see what he does. Nope, he was just doing a burnout. He thinks he's playing Need for Speed Shift, not a driving simulator. If we can get this to turn in a bit. It doesn't want to. I think we need to push the car in a bit. What's nice with this 911 RSR though is that it has that 911 understeer initial characteristic, but once you get it working for you, once you get the weight of the car actually turned into corners, that's where it sticks and it's really enjoyable. I don't think the RSR version, this version of the car, doesn't seem to have the same aggressive lift-off oversteer, with the default setup at least, that the normal 911s do. I'm going to move to the right slowly, we'll see what this guy does. Look at that. He's got a good run on us. Ah, nice overtake. Oh, maybe not, he's missed the brake point. Maybe you should go into first gear. We're in 10th place so far. It just feels really cosy driving this car as well. There's something about it. I don't know, I think it's the windscreen's quite narrow. I just feel like I should be listening to the radio whilst driving through the countryside or something. I get a Euro Truck Simulator vibe from this vehicle. Probably Porsche will never sell me a car if I end up rich. They'll find this video and they'll wonder what's wrong with me to think a Porsche RSR is like a lorry driving, but there you go. It's just such a planted It knows where it's going. It knows where it's going. Oh dear. Welcome to Terrible Car Reviews with Gamer Muscle Videos. We just need some Knight Rider on the TV screen and we'll be set. There we go, it's a little bit better. Oh, I always get asked in every single video what this app is at the bottom of the screen. It's Sidekick, and really good app for minimally putting everything on the screen. And I quite like having this Kunos scoreboard on the left hand side as well. Though I think in VR in general it's probably better to have less stuff on your screen than more. Less is more. More is less. Less is more. And obviously, if you've got all this stuff floating around your screen in VR, it does detract a little bit from the believability, the immersion of being sat inside a real car. But Sidekick puts pretty much everything you could possibly want right in a tiny bar. Whoa dear, guy right on my tail. As I sausage myself. Lap 6 of 7, one more lap to go after this. Whoa, a little bit of understeer on the braking there. Oh, we're 8th. Somehow a couple of drivers have spontaneously combusted. I don't really remember overtaking anyone. This has been a little bit of a cruise. Sorry it's not been super exciting side-by-side racing. Oh, there goes someone else. That is one thing that... Oh, dear, that was close. Oh, a car behind us is going to make it on us now. We had to brake absurdly. Let's go to the right here. One move, it's okay. Yeah, this car, the one thing I think catches some people out is you can sometimes get into a bit of a snap with it. Like the back end can come out, especially if you nab a bit of curbing that you don't want. And it can suddenly snap and it can be quite hard to actually gauge when to pull it back and catch it. And that does seem to... get a few people out, even when they're just going around fairly average corners, because it's so planted most of the time. If you're not used to catching the vehicle, then it just comes out of the blue. It can catch people off. Final lap. I can't believe we just lost a place because we had to stop ourselves from dying. Oh well. I guess it's better to be alive than to be compacted into a recycled Coke can of a Porsche. How good would that be if Assetto Corsa had proper deformation damage physics? Makes me wonder what's going on with next car game. We'll have to install it again at some point. Wreckfest, next car game. I can't remember which name they decided on in the end, but we'll have to try that. I'm sure they've done another patch since we last played it. It's such a game stuck in development hell. Surprisingly though, because it's really fun to play. Last time we played it, probably 9 or so months ago, it was really fun. It just lacked the content, but the basics were all there. Oh, fronts are starting to give out now. We'll definitely have to make a video on that. Look out for it. Hey, you know, that is an arcade game that has good enough physics that make it enjoyable and really nice force feedback as well, which is quite rare. It's just, as I say, the developers have been a bit slow with updating it. Oh, someone else has gone for a sandcastle building session. So, just by cruising and taking our time, didn't get any exciting side-by-side races, but that puts us into 7th place. Not bad. 6th place, apparently. I guess someone's disconnected, but I'll accept it. We felt like we were a couple of seconds off the pace. The brake points weren't too good. You can be really aggressive with the braking in this car. You know, with these sort of cars, you really do have to nail the braking to get the time. I think this has got ABS on it as well. It doesn't seem to be that willing to lock up anyway. But there you go. That was a race in the Porsche RSR, following on from our previous race, public server. racing. Absolutely fantastic on the Assetto Corsa, especially since the last patch. Until the next video, thanks for watching this. Don't forget to click the subscribe button. Don't forget to like us and all that business. That's what all YouTubers say at the end of every video they do. Goodbye, everybody.